Hello everyone and welcome to my podcast. You're listening to Seraphina Speaks Little Girl, Big Questions. The show that delivers you my take on topics that are important. I'm your host, Seraphina Marlena Durbin. Let's go right ahead to the show. Hello listeners and welcome to a spooky episode of my podcast, Seraphina Speaks. Today is a special episode all about Halloween. Ha 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 ha! It's a bit of a strange Halloween this year because of the corona and things aren't quite as they should be. I personally wouldn't dream of having a trick-or-treat right now because it's just not a sensible move in the middle of a pandemic. Did you know that this year, on October the 31st, there will be a spooky full moon? This full moon is called a blue moon. Why don't you take a look up in the sky when it's dark to see this special full moon? Remember to ask a grown-up to come with you. Montgomery, Horatio and I are planning on having a disco in our playroom. I'll be dressing up as a wickedly wild witch. Ah ha ha ha! After that, we'll be having a cozy but a totally terrifying movie night. Now, before I go, I want to share some Halloween jokes with you. I must warn you, they're pretty terrible. What does a panda ghost eat? I'll give you some time to think. Bamboo! How do vampires get around on Halloween? On blood vessels. What do you call a cleaning skeleton? The grin sweeper. My big question today is actually one for you, listeners. I want to know how you're celebrating Halloween this year, if at all. We're still living around the pandemic, and it's changing how we're living. I'd love to know if you've come up with a creative way to get spooky, or a virtual way of trick-or-treating with family and friends. Write to me on Seraphina at seraphinaspeaks.com. That's it for today, listeners. Thanks for joining for a spooky episode of Seraphina Speaks. Have a safe Halloween and remember to watch out for ghosts and ghouls. Wow, I hope you enjoyed the show, everybody. If you like what you hear, click the subscribe button. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to check the show notes. Leave me a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, because then more people can find my podcast.